You are now watching We Talkin' Sports.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on We Talkin' Sports. We got a lot to talk about as usual. And if you are following us on social media, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button? And if you're following us on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for us. That way you'll get notifications throughout the week as we continue to push content out to you. So DJ,
Yep.
lot going on as usual. Lots going on.
No doubt.
Even having said that, the major story, or at least here in Northeast Ohio, is still being dominated by Deshaun Watson, and rightfully so, I would say. And with that, there's been a lot of criticism nationally about the contract that Jimmy Haslam gave Deshaun Watson, at $230 million, fully guaranteed. So this week, I started to dig into that a little bit to try and understand why it was such a big deal. And now I understand that. So in the NFL, when you fully guarantee a contract for somebody, you have to up front put 75% of that contract in an escrow account. So what that means for the Browns and Jimmy Haslam is Jimmy Haslam has to write a check for $170 million to put in the escrow account just for Deshaun Watson, because that contract is fully guaranteed. And the challenge with that is there's not a lot of NFL owners that can do that. Or let's put it this way, there's a lot of NFL owners that cannot do that. Because what that requires is for you to have a lot of liquid cash. And not all NFL ownership groups are built equal. Sometimes it's literally an ownership group. So if you were trying to make an acquisition or sign a contract to the magnitude of Deshaun Watson's, you got to meet with various members of your membership group. You got to vote on it. You got to get them to approve it. Then you got to raise the money. It's to where Jimmy Haslam just opened up the old checkbook, and it was all good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say
that's big.
To him.
That's big.
I mean, it's big
because that's one player. That's one player.
You had to do that to get your quarterback, and you definitely mortgaged the farm. But I think high risk, high reward. I think that it was worth it. I think it was groundbreaking. I definitely understand owners are upset.
Because again, some of them cannot do that. Some of them literally, because like some owners, it's some of the owners that have had teams, for generations. This is what they do. They're NFL owners. They don't necessarily have other revenue streams like, for example, the Haslams do, where you got Pilot Flying J. You have a successful corporation outside of your football franchise, so you got another revenue stream. So for you, this is doable. And actually, I'm just part of it. I'm excited. I'm happy to say that we have an owner that can write checks if he wants to. Because I remember back in the day when Art Modell was our owner, that wasn't the situation. Because Art Modell did not have a lot of liquid cash. Art Modell used to have to take out bank loans just to pay his signing bonuses every year. And that was just, that was the situation he was in. But now we literally have a billionaire that can do what he wants to do with his checkbook. And, hey, I'm glad about that.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put a wait and see approach, but he definitely did go get Deshaun Watson, and I think what's important with that is that, and something, I like the Jacoby Brissett move too.
Right. But you know what the flip side of that is? The flip side of that is, how does that impact his willingness to extend other people? Because again, The big deal is when you start getting into that guaranteed money and those numbers are high. So, you know what I'm saying? Does that slow you down from when you extend Denzel now? Because you just, again, you got to write a $170 million check.
Here's what I'll say. I'm looking at it. I look at the Browns situation like this.
Because you heard about Xavier Howard's extension, did you?
Yeah. Here's how I look at it. The Browns are master's level learning on the job. You know, Andrew Berry is hey, he's out here. He is learned. He has grown up in the NFL as far as being a general manager. And so I'm just going to take a wait and see approach. I think that what he did with Baker Mayfield was very, very shrewd. I think he played that card perfectly to where, you know, he made the Deshaun Watson thing happen. Now, you know, Baker is basically toxic. Nobody's touching him. So I'm just going to say Andrew Berry really, really, really took a risk. And at the end of the day, as a fan, that's what you want your owner and your general manager to do. You want them to say, hey, there's an opportunity to get this dude, and we're going to go get him. We're going to ignore the backlash, deal with it until we start winning, because this dude is going to win. Because after the wins, everything else is
right. You just got to weather the storm. Just got to weather the storm. Yeah, and did you like
throwing $170 million to weather the storm? That's
let me tell you something. That is when you, because again, this is you still got to meet your payroll. This is another check outside of your payroll and your other operating expenses that you have to write. So again, that is big time. That is big time. The other thing with that is this week there were owners meetings, and Roger Goodell spoke, and he answered questions from the media. And of course, a lot of questions came up about Deshaun Watson. And, you know, one of the things that Roger Goodell said is he has no plans to put him on the exempt list. He said he's not conducting the investigation. He has a former circuit court judge, who's doing the investigation into the 22 allegations. And at the conclusion of that investigation, they'll determine, he said there's 3 things that could happen. He said there's a possibility nothing could happen. He could be suspended, or actually, no, that's 2 things.
My over and
that's
under.
That's 2 things. He could be suspended, or nothing could happen.
My over and under is 8 games with a appeal to take it down to 6. But see, the thing
I don't think anything's gonna happen this season.
Here's my view. So that's what's important, because okay, you got to watch what you're saying, because what you're saying is nothing is going to happen this season and he's going to be able to play. Now, right. I don't think that's going to happen.
I do.
Now, I think that in the Browns situation, so you're looking at 3 different things. You're looking at him getting this situated, getting this all solved out, serving the suspension, and playing football. That's best case scenario. You're looking at him getting this all done. That's worst case scenario. But let me tell you this, and I promise you this. And the NFL is not going to, you can call it Roger Goodell, you can call it the owners, you can call it whoever. The NFL is not going to let Deshaun Watson play football with these things hanging over him. That's not going to happen. If it looked like it was going to happen, then they would pull the exemption list card.
He already said he's not.
Yeah, he did say he's not, but he still, trust me, he is not. He is, so my whole thing, and this is what I said at the beginning, because if you remember, and I'm going to stand by this, I was not for this. I was for staying with Baker. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a change of heart. So yeah, I'm not not saying that I don't have a change of heart, because it happened. But the reason why I was not for this is because now what? Okay, so we got Deshaun Watson. You know, I've been trying to find this jersey for the last 2 weeks. I bought a Chubb jersey last week. I bought a Miles jersey this week because they don't hide the Deshaun Watson.
That's by design. That's by design. Wait till the game start. Wait till the game start.
But my point is, and I'm excited. But at the end of the day, I'm a realist also. And there is no way, in my opinion, that this dude is going to just walk out game one of the 2022 season after all of this. Now, best case scenario, all of these 22, you still got, what is it? It's April. So you still got 5 months. So best case scenario, everything gets, you know, he settles all of those cases or whatever happens, all of those cases happen, and then he serves a suspension. But if you think this is not going to be wrapped up by that date, there's no way he's playing football.
So I disagree. So I do not believe these issues will be resolved by September, week 1 of the NFL season. I don't think these issues, all 22, will be resolved.
Me either.
Even though I think the majority of them will be resolved. But I do believe he will play. And I believe he will play the entire season with a handful of these cases still lingering over his head. Because when he was initially rumored to go to the Miami Dolphins, there were reports that because Miami said they wouldn't trade for him unless these cases were settled. And he was going to just, I guess, pay to settle them. And they said his attorney reached an agreement with 18 out of the 22. But there were 4 that weren't happy with the arrangement and didn't want to settle. So I say all of that to say, I believe what's going to happen is the majority of these cases are going to mysteriously vanish. And there's going to be a handful of them that are going to linger over Deshaun Watson's head for the entire season. But again, I believe Roger Goodell is going to allow him to play. And then, depending on how those 4 cases are resolved, will determine whether or not he's suspended and for how long.
Here's another angle. You ready for this one?
Yep.
I don't think you're ready for this one.
Go ahead.
So what I think could happen, I ain't saying it's going to happen, but I think what could happen is your opening day starter is none other than Baker Mayfield. Because, hold on, dog, just listen to me.
No way. Now, that absolutely would not happen.
I agree
no way. No way.
I agree with you.
Hey, Sean, is the roadcaster on the phone? Is the phone Bluetooth?
Here's the one thing I will say about that. If you really look at it, if Baker Mayfield, if Deshaun Watson is gone for the year or for 8 games, and you Baker Mayfield, and you go out there and play, then
he will never take a snap as a Cleveland Brown.
Okay, but I'm just saying, somebody need a quarterback. You could mess around and get a first-round pick. You could mess around and get a first-round pick mid-season, right before the trade deadline, and you just basically sit there until Deshaun. So I'm just saying that I'm looking at it as I definitely don't think Deshaun Watson is going to play. Let's say, best case scenario, he's not going to play the first 4 weeks, in my opinion. I don't think that he's going to play the first 4 weeks.
Okay.
And that could go as far as 8 weeks. That could go as far as the whole season. Because, dog, they didn't do that. They didn't do that $1 million contract thinking that Deshaun Watson was going to play week 1.
But, dog, we already in April, okay? So how long? You don't just put on a civil case in like 6 weeks with 6 weeks notice or something. It's got to get scheduled. They're going to have to get people subpoenaed.
Right.
This case, any case that he has that actually goes to trial is going to take at least 6 months. It's going to take at least 6 months.
Right.
By then, you're in the middle of the NFL season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's not going to be going to trial in the middle of the NFL season. He's obviously going to ask for a continuance, and they're going to deal with it in the offseason.
So, but I'm saying that with that over his head, he's not going to be playing football.
Yes, he will.
Bro, the dude from the Browns, did he play before his case was settled? The linebacker, because he ended up So remember the linebacker that had the federal case, and then the Browns cut him.
Right.
And he's back in the league.
Right.
I can't remember if he was back in the league before the case was settled. But
No,
I'm gonna tell you, dog.
He took. But that was
Dude
again.
is not playing.
You
before
talking
the
about
case
you
is
talking
settled.
you talking criminal versus civil though.
No,
You talking criminal versus
I'm
civil.
talking the NFL and
No, you
public opinion.
talking about
Okay.
criminal charges versus civil charges, and that's what Roger Goodell said.
That is what he said, and that what dog? Think about it, bro. So you think that with 22 or I don't know, half of them, 11.
Dog, the question was very clear, so was the answer.
11.
The question was very clear, and so was the answer. And Roger Goodell answered this.
Civil sexual assault cases over your head, and you think that he is going to walk out game 1 in the NFL? Come on, bro.
Yes,
you
I
don't
do.
think that.
Yes, I
think
do.
that. You don't think
I do.
No, you don't. So,
Okay.
so the only thing I'm saying is that's why the Baker Mayfield kind of. I mean,
No.
I would do it.
Dog, I don't know why.
Because if I'm Baker, that could get me my $40 million contract.
You Baker's last fan, dog. You
No,
was
I'm not.
last fan.
No.
You was last fan.
Only thing I'm a Browns fan, and I'm looking at it as a way to so Jacoby Brissett game 1 versus healthy Baker Mayfield game 1,
It'll
and
be
we
Deshaun
waiting
Watson.
until
It'll be Deshaun Watson.
and we're
game
waiting
1.
until week 7 to get to Deshaun Watson.
I'll
Bro,
say this.
just tell me
This is
tell me
the only caveat.
Do you really think that Deshaun Watson is going to be the starting quarterback week 1 for the Cleveland Browns? There's no way you
Absolutely.
think that,
That's what I think.
How
But
could
let
you
me get
possibly
this
think
is the only caveat. The only caveat is if this judge that's doing this investigation on behalf of the NFL, if they find something and something comes to light that we haven't been aware of all this time, if there's a smoking gun that we just don't know about right now, then that changes things. But outside of that, like I said, I plan on him I think he's going to be there week 1. I think he's going to play the entire season. But let me also say this too.
You don't think that.
Hold on a second. Let me say this too.
You do not think that.
Just listen. Just listen. When the number goes down, right now, so many people are stuck on the number 22. But when that number 22 disintegrates down to 4 or 5, and the other 16, 17 didn't take a settlement, he didn't settle with them, they just dropped the charges because they knew they didn't have a case, or the charges got dismissed, it's going to start to change public perception.
Bruh, Ezekiel Elliott got in trouble in college. He wasn't even in the NFL. He got in trouble in college. He got no charges brought against him. It was one person, and he still got 6 games.
Right.
So how
but
do you think that?
But they were
so how do
there
you
were
think-
text messages and there were videos and
Same-
pictures.
Okay.
So that's different.
No, there was not. Because
Yes, it was.
No, there was not, bro. If it was, he would have got charges. He didn't get any charges.
So
you're talking about
he
a
didn't
dude
get criminal
that
charges, but
had
Roger Goodell
22
decided to suspend him.
Okay. See, this is the thing. This is what I
I'm
don't
not
like.
saying he's not
what
getting
I don't like
suspended.
is you
I'm not
end
saying
up-
he's not going to get
That
suspended.
is what you said. You said he's gonna be playing week 1.
I'm saying he's not going to get suspended at the beginning of this season. What I'm saying is I believe this whole situation is going to play out through the course of the season. So most likely, if he gets suspended, it'll probably be for next season.
And you think that the NFL is going to just let him play week 1 with 22, 11, 4. Let's say you get it down to 4. You think the NFL is going to let him just play week 1?
I do.
Yeah. You see, that's what it is. That's why it's hard. It's hard to talk to a Cleveland fan because you end up like you don't like the Browns.
You just said
But
something
at
about
the end of
Baker
the day-
playing, and you talking about.
But
You just said something about Baker playing,
But
and you
I
questioning
said
whether
Baker-
or not Deshaun Watson's gonna. Because I said Deshaun Watson.
Only reason why I said Baker playing is because it would just be an option, a quarterback.
Come
option.
on now.
So that
Come
might.
on
so
now.
At the
That's
end
not-
Of the day,
it's not an
At the
option.
end of the day, that probably will not happen. I agree with that.
It will not.
how
I can tell you definitively that will not happen.
But
I can
how
tell you
could you
definitively
think-
that will not happen.
Hold on, call coming in. We talking sports. Who we got on the phone? We hear you, but we can't hear you. But dog, Okay, while we waiting, bro, dude is not playing week 1, dog. You know that, like I know that, bro.
Okay.
The dude is not playing week 1, and like I said,
let me tell you something. Sometimes you just gotta read between the lines. Okay.
We got a caller.
Yeah, we got Stevie J.
Stevie J. What's going on with you?
Look here, man. Man, look here, man. Deshaun Watson gonna play this year, man. He ain't gonna miss a game.
Come on,
right?
Steve. Come on, Stevie J. Come on.
D-Jack.
Yeah.
There is no way you gonna pay $230 million guaranteed to a man who ain't gonna play from the get. Listen, Andrew Haslam did an investigation. You don't think they ain't talked to Roger Goodell about this? Come on, man. For real?
Exactly. Because let me ask you this. Okay, good point, Stevie J. Good point. Because this is what I was getting ready to say. So Roger Goodell says there's this judge that's doing this investigation. How long do you have to investigate? This has been going on this case has been going on for over a year now. I mean, it's just like
it's a money grab.
Exactly. And it's very obvious that they're waiting on some of these cases to be settled / resolved. Because what more is there to investigate?
So the first thing is you can't. I don't.
How long can you look at a situation and go over the same facts, talk to the same people? I mean, come on now.
That's the sports fan in you. That's not the
no.
reality.
It's the common sense.
Then
it's the common sense.
Then why would they do the $1 million contract?
Dog. If the Browns was able to do an investigation in 5 months, why has it taken Roger Goodell's people over a year to do it and it still ain't finished? Because they're waiting to see what happened with these cases.
Right.
They waiting to see what happened. That's what I'm saying.
And so while they're waiting to see what happened with these cases, you think they're gonna let him just roll out week 1?
That's what Roger Goodell said.
No, he did not.
He did.
No, he did not.
He said, I'm not gonna put you on the exempt list. He said anything that happens will happen at the conclusion of our investigation. And it's very obvious they're waiting on these cases to be resolved to conclude their investigation.
Right. And so, bro,
okay.
How could you possibly think he gonna play week 1? That's the only thing I'm just saying. How could you possibly think that he gonna play week 1?
$230 million.
But only $1 million of it is being paid for this season, though.
Nah, man, come on. He wouldn't have invested $230 million if they hadn't already talked about all this. They know what time it is. That's almost $250 million. Come on now.
So you think the dude is just gonna play just week 1? Do you think he's gonna get suspended at all?
I told you what I think. I told you I believe that the majority of these cases are gonna go away, but there's gonna be a handful of them that are gonna linger over his head, and they're gonna be scheduled for trial, but they're not actually gonna go to trial till almost a year from now.
Right.
So in the meantime, he's going to be allowed to play. That's what Roger Goodell didn't go into details about his cases, but he said, I'm not going to put him on the exempt list, and we will not suspend him until the conclusion of our investigation.
Bruh. Okay.
And you know what? I totally agree, man, what 5-6 saying. Man, what I don't like is to really discredit to the women who really get victimized and abused and treated unfairly by men. And what happens is that the women that try to use the women that really get assaulted, try to use their narrative to turn it into a narrative to a money grab. And this is what I'm seeing. And then what happens is we create the victim Olympics. So what happens is they do that, and then you try to turn this man into a monster, man. The dude did not get criminally charged, man. I mean, come on, man. At the end of the day, I'm tired of hearing about it, but you know what? We have to talk about it. But you know what? That's gonna open another can. What? Okay, let me say this real quick before I hang up. Okay, we say 22 women. They said that Deshaun did this. Here's my point. How in the heck that these women gonna accuse Deshaun Watson of sexually assaulting them? And they rubbing on him. They acting like he's a problem.
All right, Steve. Thanks for the call, man.
Right.
Hey. Okay, so So here's my take on that. I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna let the court decide. I get what he's saying. If this was a money grab, it is hurting actual victims.
Right.
But I'm not
Right.
gonna say it's a money grab because I don't know. That's what the court of law is for. And I'm gonna let that play out. But we got another caller? No, not anymore. Okay. Hey, but we're gonna let it play out. We're gonna let it play out. The thing about it is we are so much fanboy that we really kind of gloss over reality. And I'm going to say that if I've done that, I apologize for it. There are 22 people that are victims, at the end of the day. And that's why we have this court of law. I want him to play for the Browns as bad as everybody else do. But, you got to get that taken care of. And if I put my money on it, there's no way he's playing week 1. Hey, who we got on the call? We talking sports.
It's Trey Love.
Trey to the love. What's up, chapter dog?
Oh, cool. And I'm off work today. It's me and my wife's anniversary. So,
Free Trey Love. It's our anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, team.
Thank you. But I'm calling because I've been watching. Me and Sean, we talking about this verbatim several times, and Dion, the reason why they put that they paid that $1 million upfront, that's standard procedure in most contracts. They do it. They pay that first $1 million. If you just look at it, that's the way they structure the contract. So people think that's the NFL doing it to pay his fee that first season. That's not really true. But what is true is the attorney. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but the attorney of all the women in this what's it called? Class case. Action. Yeah, they share the same attorney. The attorney is actually what is called an ambulance chaser. So the things didn't come out. These things did not come out until Deshaun Watson said, "I want to be traded," and that's when they initially came out. Now, anybody knows that the NFL knows what you're doing. They know what you're doing. So it held on to those things until Deshaun said, I want to be traded. Then they came out. Okay. Now, if you follow I guess they call it depositions of the transcripts, they use the same language. You just follow. You can tell these women are being coached.
They're being coached.
All right, dog. We gonna cut you short. So
hold on. Let me finish. I'm not finished yet. So it's 22 of them, and Sean is right. The commissioner did say, since these are not criminal charges, we have to wait until all the investigation are done. The investigations stem from the outcome of the cases. So since they're in civil court, they have to wait to the end of them. And these things could take 1 year or 2 years.
Yeah.
So Deshaun is going to play this season.
I agree.
He may even be suspended.
Right.
But it's not going to be anytime soon. But you can't, if they don't have, if the people have, it's not on tape, it's not on film, so it's just he said, she said, and it is he said, she said, because there's so many of them.
Got you. All right, dog. Thanks for the call. So the first thing, and I think we have to really concentrate on that. We cannot continue to say that this is a money grab. We got to let that play out, because that's really disrespectful to the victims. I get it. We fanboys. We want them to play. But at the end of the day, we have to be careful with that because
I'm not calling it a money grab.
At the end of the day, it is 22 people who have filed a lawsuit. Now, I guess where I disagree with you and Trey Love is I don't think that it's a good look for a person with a single sexual assault charge over their head and they play. And because
how about a murder charge in their backpack?
Right.
Is a murder charge okay?
I don't know, but let me finish saying what I'm saying. But I think that what it comes down to is that I don't know if the NFL is going to allow him to play. I mean, if y'all think that he is,
Roger Goodell said he would.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear Roger Goodell say that. I get that's y'all's interpretation, but that's not what I heard. But we talking sports. Who we got?
Hello?
Yeah, who do we have?
We got Stevie J again.
Okay, what's going on, Stevie J?
Oh, okay, here's my thing about the money grab thing. And I went through it before. Now, we can open up another can of worms on this, man, that people don't want to talk
Stevie J,
about.
a chick tried to get you for, what, a couple of million?
Listen,
on the money grab
guess what?
She tried.
Hold on. Listen, I'm Stevie J. I don't need no money for no woman to come for me.
Oh, I thought you.
I
thought you said somebody tried to get you on a money grab.
Let me. Look, I'm gonna tell you something real quick though.
Okay.
And this real talk on a serious note though, man. It's like we talking about 22 women that's coming out talking about Deshaun Jackson. How about the hundreds and hundreds of men that have been sexually assaulted by women? They don't go nowhere. When we go to and tell the proper people, hey, this woman sexually assaulted me, we get frowned upon. They look at us like a joke. So let's not go there with that. So we talk about 22. Let's talk about the hundreds of men get sexually harassed. I've been sexually harassed, and I feel uncomfortable about it. But I'm gonna hang up and hear what y'all got to say.
All right, Stevie J, thanks for the call. So here's what we're gonna do.
There's definitely another side to it though. It happens on the other on the flip side. You know what I'm saying?
Let's stick to sports. The only reason why I say that is because it's going to play out in the court. You know what's funny, and I hope this takes it off of this conversation. But what's funny is that same court system had a computer glitch and let 200 inmates free. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the same court system, the Houston Clark County court system, had a computer glitch, and it's something like if you're arrested, you have to like see a judge within 48 hours or something like that. And so the computer messed up. They didn't know who saw the judge 48 hours, who didn't. And so now they have to rearrest all of those people that which makes it dangerous. But that's the same court system that we're dealing with. But I'm just gonna say, for the sake of my job, because people look at you on Facebook and like, he work here, whatever. For the sake of my job, I'm going to say that we're going to table this. I don't believe that he's going to play. I don't. Week 1, it would be great if he did from a Cleveland Browns fan standpoint. But out of respect for the victims, we're just going to leave it at that.
It's respect for the victims, and it's also respect for the accused. And I just see it as a situation where it's not going to be resolved soon.
Right.
And I think Roger Goodell and the NFL are waiting for the conclusion of this before they make judgment. And I just don't think that's going to happen this year.
But do you think, okay, so do you think it would be a good idea from the NFL standpoint, from the Cleveland Browns standpoint, from Deshaun Watson's standpoint? Do you think it would be a good idea for him to play week 1?
Absolutely.
For sure. Okay.
Look, if nothing else, it highlights the judicial system. Just because you're accused of something doesn't mean you're guilty.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the reason why you don't get arrested and go straight to prison.
Exactly.
Houston didn't play him, and he was definitely the best Houston option. He was at practice every day, And Houston just decided not to trot him out there. Now it could be.
Well, no, he didn't want to play for them. He didn't want to play for them.
But he went to training camp.
He went to training camp because now the NFL has rules that don't allow you to. If you get fined for missing camp or missing practice, you can't. In the past, they could waive all that stuff. Now they can't, and that's part of the collective bargaining agreement. So he had to show up. Just like if the Browns tell Baker Mayfield to show up, he's going to have to show up because he doesn't want to get fined for all of that stuff. So right. It's totally up to the Browns how they want to play that. And I think chances are they're going to tell him to just stay away. But let me ask you this. In your opinion, what's going on with these Cavs? I mean, because right now we're tumbling, we're spiraling.
Well, no, they are who I thought they were. I mean, so the thing is, here's the thing about the Cavs. Don't get me wrong. Missing Jarrett Allen is huge, but the thing about the Cavs is, just like I said, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and they lose to the teams that they are supposed to lose to.
No, they
end up luckily beating Denver, but they're not a better team than Denver. But the thing is okay, so
you still a Cavs short. You it's like you mentioned the fact that Jarrett Allen's out, but how about the fact that Evan Mobley's out?
Yeah.
So
what I'm saying is this: about 2 months ago, I was telling you that the Cavs was going to be about exactly where they were, and you were saying, "No, Joel Embiid is about to get hurt." And your dudes on your team the dudes on the Cavs end up getting hurt because it's. And so the thing about it is, when you look at the Cavs games, they beat the teams that they are supposed to beat because they are a good basketball team. But like I said back then 2 months ago, teams are now playing playoff basketball. Like this is at the beginning of the season when you are the number 2 seed. That's fool's gold. Miami kept it going because Miami is a veteran team. So they were one of the teams that jumped out, and they kept it going because they are a veteran team. The Cavs are a young team. I'm nothing against them. I love them. I am so excited about this future.
So I see it more of a story of injuries.
About a month, 2 ago, they ain't in that neighborhood, bro.
I don't agree with you. Agree with you because if you look at the Memphis Grizzlies, they're a very young team too. Yeah. With what you would call unaccomplished players, and they've had sustained success because they've had minimal injuries. The Cavs, so when the Cavs had...
Bro, they done lost John for 22 games.
That's one player. That's one player. They have a whole team. The Cavs haven't just lost one player. And when you look at the Cavaliers and you look at the success they had, when they were having their most success, their staple was their defense. And that started with the fact that Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley can protect the rim in tandem like no other two in the NBA. They do a better job in tandem of protecting the rim than any other two in the NBA.
Bro, come on, dog. Come on, bro. Jarrett Allen
there's statistics to support everything that I'm saying. This isn't an opinion. These are facts. This isn't an opinion. These are facts.
Then why are they not one of the top 3 teams in the East then?
Because they've been hurt. They hurt. They're not playing.
Bruh, if the Cavs was healthy this entire season,
dog,
Rondo,
you didn't let me
Sexton, the whole crew, they not better than Philly, Milwaukee, Miami. The 5 teams.
That's because you don't believe in them. That's because you don't believe in them. But when they're healthy, the Cavs are a better team than them. Because let me tell you something. When the Cavs were healthy, the Cavs were the number 2 or number 3 team defensively every week in the NFL. I mean, in the NBA. It was Golden State. It was Memphis. It was the Cavs. They were one of the top teams. But a lot of their defensive statistics was based off of having Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. And when you miss one of them, it gets hard. When you miss 2 of them, you're not the same team.
We talking sports. Who we got? I hope it's Bernie Bickerstaff or JB Bickerstaff because, dog.
Stevie J.
Who is it?
Stevie J.
Stevie
Back
J.
again.
Talk about them Cavs, Stevie J.
What
talk
you?
about them Cavs.
I'm going to talk about them Cavs, man. I was a little bit passionate about the last one. Excuse me, y'all. Because, it really happened to Stevie J because I'm Stevie J. But check this out, though. Now, if LeBron James was on this team, we'd be going to the championship right now. Everybody's hurt right now. What you think?
I believe it too. Because let me tell you something. Even with us missing like Jared Allen and our even with our injuries, our biggest problem right now, is our inability to score. And if you brought the leading scorer in the NBA, I think that problem would be alleviated.
Yeah,
talk to me, DJ.
Bron have a good game, and then he sit out one. So I don't.
Well, that's because he's playing 38 minutes a game. You don't have to play 38 minutes a game if you was on this roster. If you was on the Cavs roster, you'd have to play about 23, 24 minutes a game, and you come in and you just an offensive weapon. You know what I'm saying?
So here's what I say. I think Bron is. I think his scoring championship is not really legit from a all-time LeBron fan. When I bring that up, somebody's going to say, "Yeah, Bron won that championship because blah blah blah." So right now we're in the moment, we don't realize it. But here, because Bron is not playing winning basketball. Bron is playing, hey, y'all say I can't win the scoring championship, and so I'm gonna win the scoring championship. But he's not playing winning basketball, and he can't do it back to back. If he scores 50, he sits out. If he scores 37 against the Cavs and have a triple-double, he sits out. He played full-time last night against the New Orleans Pelicans in Los Angeles and ended up losing. And that team is definitely not a good team. So, but do I think LeBron could take this team to a championship? Yeah, I do. I do think LeBron could take the Cavs to a championship if that was his goal. I do. I do think he's that good. Because I do think, because here, let me just say this last thing. I do think the Cavs are a good basketball team. So I don't want to make it seem like I don't. I just don't think they are good as Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Miami, the teams that are actually the teams that are going to win a championship or contend for a championship.
I don't. If you put LeBron on this team, I don't agree with that because let me tell you something.
I think he would put him up there.
When Bron came back and he had Kyrie and Kevin Love, they had never been to the playoffs at all in their career, and he took them all the way to the finals in their first year. Having LeBron makes all the difference in the world. All you need is some talent around him.
Bro, let me ask you a question. Do you think Darius Garland is? I think you think that Darius Garland. I think that you think Darius Garland is better than I think he is. I think he's a good basketball player, but if Darius Garland isn't giving you AI, how could you think this team?
If he's not giving you what?
What Allen Iverson was giving you. How could you think this team could be in contention if they were fully healthy the entire year? If he's the best player, we saw Allen Iverson as the best player under 6 feet lead the team to the chip.
Well, he may not be the best player. The best player may be Evan Mobley.
That's a good point, DJ. That's a good point.
No, the best player may be Evan Mobley.
Yeah, but he's not right now. I'm talking about the 22
So I'm not talking about the Cavs.
They were healthy this whole season. No injuries, no Rondo injury, no Jared Allen. You still got Karis LeVert. You got the same situation. You still end up about the 6th seed, 7th seed.
No, I think we more in the Memphis type situation. Memphis not the 6th seed. They're not the 7th seed. They maintain.
Last year. They was in the playing game last year.
Okay.
So you're in the playing game this year. So maybe next year you be Memphis.
Okay. I mean, it's all speculation because
Okay. Can I say this real quick? Hey,
Go ahead.
Now let me ask you this. What is LeBron playing for if he's not playing? What you saying he's not playing for? What is he playing for then?
In my opinion, I don't know the man. I'm not inside the man's brain, but in my opinion, he is chasing the Kareem scoring championship. He is trying to win the scoring title, but I don't think from day one he is trying to win basketball games. I've been watching LeBron forever. I've seen him take way less teams to the chip, but
not at 37.
But my thing is, I just think he's actually 37. Like I remember 2 seasons ago, I used to be like, man, you know something, LeBron is doing everything the rest of these dudes is doing. He don't even look. He looked just as good as them dudes. I don't feel that way no more.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say one more thing. I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit and hang up. Now, when that did happen to me, she was fine. I'm Stevie J. I'm gone.
Oh, Stevie J. Crazy.
Yeah, but hey.
But I mean, if the conversation is can Bron take this team? If at Bron they win a chip,
to me it just and again, call me crazy, but it just only makes sense to me. I think he needs the Cavs and the Cavs need him. I don't think it's going to be like it was before, where you come and you just run the whole organization. I think it's a situation where I think they kind of need each other right now.
So let me ask you this on that question here. You say he needs the Cavs. So do you think the Cavs are the best situation? Let's say it's off season. Like you really think that they that good? I think best case scenario, the Cavs are what they are. I don't think they're better than Atlanta. I don't think they're
even though their record says it. You don't believe their record, right?
Head to head? Or are you talking about what they play? Because at the
82 game season. 82 games say who's what. It says I'm first. It says you're in second. You're in third.
Okay.
And so forth.
Okay.
That's why they play the games. Why they play the games.
So do I think they're better than Brooklyn? They have a better record than Brooklyn. I don't think they're better than Brooklyn. I think they are. I think that we are putting the cart in front of the horse. Unfortunately, they're probably not going to make it out the play-in.
Well, you have to look at the situation.
Do you think they're gonna make it out the play-in?
You gotta look at this. Who they playing?
Well,
you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. No, it's enough. Everything is so tight right now, and there's enough games left that you don't know. You don't know.
Playing Atlanta. The 2 teams, in my opinion, that's gonna make it out the play-in is Atlanta and Brooklyn. How can I not feel that way?
Okay. All right. Well, the way I see it is let them play the games and we'll see. Because first of all, we don't know who's playing who. We don't know who's going to be healthy. Just let them play the games. Let them play the games. So I tell you what. Outside of those Cavs, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Who the best player in the NBA right now?
I gotta say,
I think it's a clear, concise answer.
I gotta say Giannis.
If you said anything else, I was gonna question you.
Giannis
If you said anything else, I was gonna question you. He clearly is.
But
he's a champ. He's a 2-time MVP. I mean, he's a defending champ. He do it on both ends of the court. What else you want from a guy?
But I think it's going to be settled here. Like, I would not be surprised if the Miami Heat come out of the West. Out the East.
I would.
I would not be surprised.
I would be very surprised. In fact, I'll go as far as say they're not coming out. They're not coming out. There's no way they'll come out. And I'm going to tell you why.
Based it on record. You just said that the Cavs is good because of their record.
No.
In the East.
Those are 2 different questions, though.
Okay.
Those are 2 different. Who's the best? That's based off your record. Who coming out? That's based off of matchups.
Right.
And
that's what I said about Atlanta and the Cavs, but okay.
Well, no, you said who's the best. You said who's the best, and I said look at their record.
They got the better record head to head. But go ahead, I'm with you. Go ahead.
So I look at Miami, and their issue is they'll never be able to score enough points to keep up with a team like Brooklyn or Milwaukee. So I just don't see them. I don't see them coming out. Yeah, that's just my take.
Here's my thing. I'm not picking them to come out. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. And the reason I wouldn't be surprised is because I like their veteran basketball. I like their organization. You got Pat Riley at the head. You got Spo. You got my man Jimmy Butler,
who was trying to put hands on Spo a couple of days ago.
Right. But and they came out and they addressed it. So I like what they do. And
So,
you know I only said that to say that you about to put some respect on Kyle Lowry's name this playoffs. Kyle Lowry is about to have a playoff because, man,
Mr. Overrated himself.
it's so funny how Tracy McGrady didn't have close to the career that Kyle Lowry had.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Okay.
You gonna put Kyle Lowry in the class with Tracy McGrady?
Better than Tracy McGrady. Bruh, he's got an NBA championship. He has the NBA's best record. Probably, if he got it right now, this would probably be his third time.
I can't believe you said that.
As a point guard, what's your job?
So Kyle Lowry top 75. He
Yes.
should be a top 70.
In my opinion, yes. Yes. Tell me, okay.
Wow.
So if you look at,
He wasn't even the best player on his own team.
okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. Who has accomplished the most for the Toronto Raptors? Who, if they had to pick the one player that will say this dude has meant the most to this franchise, who would it be? Would it be
Kawhi Leonard?
But he only played for one season.
How many championships they win?
Hey.
How many championships they win?
That is true. That is a true statement. But Kyle Lowry took them to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row.
He couldn't do nothing. He couldn't do nothing when Brown was here. Forget Kyle Lowry, man.
I know we only talk about Cleveland. I get it. Sports doesn't exist outside of Cleveland. But
Kyle Lowry's only a superstar to you. Kyle, you the only one in America outside of Miami talking about Kyle Lowry.
Because selling tennis shoes and being popular don't make you a good basketball player. If you look at this dude, he was the starting point guard in a legit offense where the point guard runs the ball, and he took.
The president of the Kyle Lowry fan club. So let me ask you.
I'll take him over there.
If you can.
I would. I know. But at the end of their career, we're gonna see what is
what about them Guardians? What about them Guardians? Set some expectations for them.
You know something? I'm gonna tell you, the Guardians are not going to be good this year. They are very disappointing. So here's what the Indians are doing.
You mean the Guardians?
The Guardians. I'm sorry. Here's what the Guardians are doing this year. So the Guardians have made major trades. They've traded pitchers. They traded Francisco Lindor and everything like that. So right now, the Guardians' payroll is the third lowest in baseball. To give you an example, the teams with the three highest are over $200 million. I think the number 3 is like $189 million. $189 million to $200 million. That's the top 3. I think that's like Boston, New York, and the Dodgers. I might be wrong with the teams. Oh, I think it's the Mets. I think it's the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Yankees are the 3 top highest payroll. Again, average about $200 million. The Indians' payroll this year is $35 million. So, here's what the Indians...
They ain't trying to spend no money.
But here's what they...
Jimmy Haslam, go ahead and buy the Guardians. You know what I'm saying? And let's do this.
Here's what they're doing, though. So, when they traded Lindor, and when they traded Plesac, who was a pitcher that y'all probably don't remember, but he went and got in trouble during the COVID time, and the Indians traded him to San Diego. But anyway, the Guardians, right. But what they are trying to do is they're trying to say, we've received all of these top prospects from all of these trades, and now we're about to put them out in the field. So Terry Francona does a good job.
You could be surprised then, huh?
No, I'm not betting on it. Terry Francona is a great manager. And he's done this before.
Is he healthy enough to finish the season?
That's number 1.
Sheesh.
And then number 2, the teams in our division are getting loaded. The White Sox and the Twins are just making major moves. So I don't see them being good this year. We talking sports. Who we got?
Stevie J want to talk about.
Stevie J.
Hey, DJ.
Yeah.
I know you a baseball head, man. Man, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I got the Indians flag in front of my house, man. and it's blending in with the American flag. And since they denounced the Indians logo, I don't know what to do. Should I keep it up, D Jack, or should I take it down?
You know what I'm gonna say, Stevie J? I'm gonna say that you should go ahead and just purchase a Guardians one. I mean, just get out in front of it. What it comes down to is everybody's sensitivity isn't ours. You can't tell a group of people, hey, your flag is offensive. That's up to the group of people. So at the end of the day, you just gotta follow trend. Get you a Guardian one and fly it. Do I think the Guardians is corny? And oh my God, please tell me y'all heard that song.
What?
Did y'all heard? Y'all know they got a new song.
Oh, I heard.
Did you hear the song?
Yeah, I heard.
Oh my God, man, that song is the worst in history. Like they talking about we are Cleveland. It is the worst. It is the worst. So
it was terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it.
So they are not off to a good start, but I think they're gonna grow on us. I think in 5 years I'm gonna stop making a mistake and calling them the Indians, because that's what you've been doing for your whole life. You know.
Right. Hey, DJ, now let me ask this before I hang up, because I know the show about to end. Man, why we not spending no money to get players like everybody else, man? Why this boy acting so cheap? It's because we've been somewhat kind of successful, not spending money and been in the thick of things somewhat. Why are we not spending money, DJ?
Let me tell you why I think. I think it's because and thanks for the call, Steve. I think what major league owners are doing is major league owners are saying baseball salaries are getting out of hand. Y'all union is strong, so we just not signing major players. But there are markets that say you have to be good. In Cleveland, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be a good. And so I'm saying that to say, like, let's say, for example, or Tampa Bay or the Baltimore Orioles, although they used to be a good franchise. We used to be a good franchise. But right now, because the apathy for baseball is so low, in Cleveland, you don't necessarily have to be a good franchise. In Los Angeles, you do. In New York, you do. So those teams right now are making major acquisitions and spending huge money, whereas a lot of teams in Major League Baseball is saying, no, we're not. So it would be like, the example would be like Tyreek Hill is a free agent, because they're baseball players that are the baseball equivalent of Tyreek Hill that you can go out and get. Now, you're going to have to pay him some money. You're going to have to pay him, $30 million a season, but our whole payroll is $30 million.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So right now, it's a situation where major league owners are trying to bring salaries down. So if you are a baseball team, if we were a team that, let's say, sold out opening day and sold out the entire year, then our owner would be forced to go out and get some of those contracts. But we're not that team. We're a team that it snows in April, so we don't show up until June if you are a legit baseball team. And so right now the Indians aren't paying money. I can't say I blame them, because I understand. And the one thing I do give the Indians credit for is they don't sell false hope.
Okay. That makes sense. They let you know right up front it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hey, so, it is about that time we need to wrap the show up. I do want to throw one more thing out here just to have a brief kind of announcement / topic. The LEL is no longer, and for those who don't know, that's the Lake Erie, the Lake Erie League high school football in Northeast Ohio. It's always been a very, I believe it was started in like 1908. You know what I'm saying? With Cleveland Heights, Shaker Heights, Shaw, Lakewood. It's coming to an end. So what they're doing right now, from what my sources tell me, shout out to Rich, shout out to Kurt, is they're now redistricting these schools based off of population, the student body. And as a result, Cleveland Heights and Shaker Heights. Well, Shaker Heights already left the LEL, but Cleveland Heights is leaving the LEL, and they're joining the Greater Cleveland, a conference called the Greater Cleveland Conference. And again, it's based off of larger schools. So what I understand, the other members of that are going to be Shaker Heights, Brunswick, Euclid, Medina, Mentor, Solon, and Strongsville. So, you know, that's a big change from when I was in high school, because the LEL was, for the most part, your neighbors. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, hey, I think the reason that they're doing it makes sense, because your student body probably should dictate whether you're playing in the, what division you're playing in.
So Heights has been playing some pretty good football lately. So yeah, it's a good thing. I think I don't know the conference that Shaw is going into, and since you not being a Shaw grad, you got way more of the Heights information than you do the Shaw information.
Figure that, riddle me that way. You know what I'm saying?
But at the end of the day, the one thing that you look at Shaw and Heights is you have pretty good football programs. From way back to when I was in school till now, Shaw and Heights have always been pretty good football programs. And it's unfortunate that they are no longer going to be in the same conference.
Right, because it was always a good rivalry game. It was always a good rivalry game. To me, that was the high school equivalent of Brown Steelers.
Brown Steelers, right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Hey, times change, things change, but like I said, that was a conference that had been around.
How many outsider situations did y'all have?
Oh, it was every year it was one.
Right.
Every year it was one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They eventually moved the games to 1:00 on Saturdays because it was too much problems on Friday nights. You know what I'm saying?
So in 1983 basketball season, we were 19-0. When we played Heights at Shaw, it was a huge fight. So they ended up playing the game Saturday at like 9 a.m. Nobody in the crowd. And Shaw ended up winning the game, and we ended up. I think we lost. We lost to St. Joe's. My son's Reggie Stover was on that team, but yeah, and so to me, since then, they start changing that games at 1:00.
Yeah. I mean, it was so much history with that. It was so much history.
Yeah.
I know Kyle was probably in them games.
Yep. Kyle was. So it's funny because I know Kyle as the Bruz, but I remember him as a freshman, because we used to be sitting there talking shit to him. Stuff to him like, man, we'll fuck you around in the game, blah, 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 blah. This dude was like bigger than everybody. But those were some good games. Shaw versus Heights. And I mean, I'm sure we got a lot of alumni out there that know about that rivalry.
That's right. That's right.
I remember Trey Love say his second worst game ever is we playing Heights at Shaw in basketball. So I ain't play basketball. I'm in the stands. Me and Trey Love in the stands. Jump ball, 3 seconds left, scramble for the ball. My frat brother CC, who ain't a Q at this point, we in high school, picks up the ball, launches it, hits the game winner at the buzzer.
Heights wins. Heights wins.
At Shaw. Yeah. I think that was our senior year. So
wow.
Definitely big game.
Wow, good stuff.
Yep.
But hey, that's a wrap for us this Saturday. Thanks for joining. Be sure to tune in next Saturday. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button or the like so you can get the content we push out throughout the week. And we'll see you next Saturday. And you know what we going to do.
We talking sports.